how you will transition from CapCut to Premiere Pro, or basically you're looking for a beginner's tutorial to Premiere Pro, something to get you started, something to help you understand the interface and, well, get started with Premiere Pro generally. And I welcome you to this video, and right here on my screen I'll just dive straight into it and you get the value for why you have clicked on this video. Okay, so I have splitted on my screen CapCut and Premiere Pro. So the one at the top here, this is CapCut, and the one here is Premiere Pro. Do not worry that I'm using a MacBook at the moment for this. The interface is actually the same on a Windows PC as it is on a MacBook, because I've used it on both, right? And the things that I'll be doing in this video are very simple. First, I will be telling you the similarities between CapCut and Premiere Pro. So what is similar? What are the things that you already know? I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you already know CapCut. If you don't, it's fine. You're still going to get the promise of this video, okay? So, but in case you're already using CapCut, the first thing that I want to do is to point out the similarities, the things that are already in CapCut that are also in Premiere Pro. And the second thing that I want to do is tell you what are the things that are different, what is in Premiere Pro that you can't find in CapCut, okay? So I would just point out the ones that are very important and the ones that you need to get started. And then the last thing that I would do is to give you some action steps, some things that you need to do or that you should do every day if you want to easily and seamlessly transition from CapCut to Premiere Pro. Now, what is similar? What are the things that you find in CapCut that you also find in Premiere Pro? Now, the first thing is obviously your timeline. Okay, if you use CapCut, you already know that you usually would have a timeline. This place here where I'm touching right now, this is your timeline, where you put your audio, your video, and whatever file, your photo files that you're editing, your assets basically. So your timeline is basically like the same way a butcher puts his or her meat on a particular table where they cut it. That's basically what your timeline is, okay? That's where you put all the meat, all your videos, and this is where the magic happens basically. This is your timeline. You have this on CapCut. Now, I would immediately show you the same thing on Premiere Pro and tell you how Premiere Pro's timeline is different from CapCut's timeline. So I'll just bring my Premiere Pro up. So this is Premiere Pro. I do not have anything opened, okay? So that's why everything here is empty. Now, this is your timeline. Apparently here it says timeline. I believe you can see this. Now, the difference between the timeline on CapCut and the timeline on Premiere Pro is that on CapCut, here you have CapCut. When you import a video and audio, which I'm going to do right now, the way they communicate is different, okay? Let's take an example. I have a video here that I edited. Let's say I import this video into my CapCut. Now I want to put it on my timeline. I just click and I drag it on my timeline. It comes with the audio attached to it, okay? So the video and audio are joined together, right? But if I do the same thing on Premiere Pro and I import this video that I edited for someone and I click and drag it to my timeline, this plus sign that is showing right now is saying that there's something I'm holding and I can add it to my timeline. So if I leave it, you can see here that I have a separate timeline. The timeline is divided into two. The top where you have V1, V2, V3, they are for your videos, and then you have A1, A2, A3. These ones are for your audios. All right, now rather than merge the audio and video together and make it into one, Premiere Pro separates your audio from your video. Even though when you move your video, your audio moves with it, the same thing when you move your audio, your video moves with it. Okay, so the basic thing I want you to pick from this is that when you import a new video into your timeline, what happens is that Premiere Pro separates the video file from the audio file, so you have different timeline. And you can see here I can move the video timeline up a little and I have more real estate for my audio timeline, and I can as well adjust. I'm adjusting from the middle point here. In every version of Premiere Pro, I believe you are going to find this. Okay, I'm using Premiere Pro 2024 right now, but I think it is actually the same in every version of Premiere Pro. And yeah, you see that's the first thing. You have your timeline here on Premiere Pro, and on CapCut as well, you also have your timeline. Okay, just that if you need to work on your audio or work with your audio on CapCut, you have to click on your clip, look for extract audio, and then you extract your audio. Then you have audio track and video track. So that is the first thing that is similar, the timeline. And then we have another thing that is similar here on CapCut. We have our preview player where we preview our videos, right? So we have the same thing too on Premiere Pro. If you come to Premiere Pro, this is Premiere Pro, you can see right on this side you have preview of what is currently in your timeline. Okay, I do not want to begin to dive into the terms that we use in Premiere Pro, the things we call certain things right now, because I know you are just starting out and I do not want to overwhelm you, but we will definitely delve into that as as we progress in this video. Now, this is your preview segment or section of your Premiere Pro interface, okay? So that is that for that. Now, what is different between the preview of CapCut and preview of Premiere Pro is that just right beside it, you have something called source. Usually, this is how it comes. You can always change this. The thing about Premiere Pro, I find it interesting and I like it actually, is the fact that you can actually rearrange your timeline any way that you want, okay? You can also do the same thing on CapCut, but Premiere Pro gives you so much more freedom to do that, right? And then Premiere Pro has more features and more things that you can move around, so it is way better on Premiere Pro. But basically, what I want to point out, what is difference between the preview section or segment of CapCut and that of Premiere Pro is the fact that right beside it here, you have this source. Before you bring anything into your timeline, you can quickly drag things there just to preview them, okay? And when I say preview them, I mean you can just play them before bringing them in. And the beautiful thing is that you can play them and decide, oh, I want to only bring in a portion of this clip. For example, let's play this video.
When you meet people.
Now, this is this video icon. If I click and drag it, let me select from 2 minutes and I press my eye to 3 minutes. Oh, what I did was I've isolated a certain point in this particular video, right? And this is the point that I've isolated. If I come here and I click on drag video only, this icon, I click it down and I move it to my timeline, you can see it here. It is moving with me, so I can drop it anywhere I want. It's not going to bring in the audio along with it, so bring in only the video. Why? Because I have isolated this certain point and I have dragged video only. You can see the text that it is bringing underneath my cursor. So the same thing if I want to do it for the audio, I just click on the audio icon and I drag it to my timeline. Yep, that is how we do that. So again, the first thing that is similar between CapCut and Premiere Pro is the timeline and then the preview channel, and I've shown you some of the things that are different between the both of them. Okay, the third thing that you have in CapCut and also in Premiere Pro is this space where you import your files, your audio, your photos and all that. When you come to Premiere Pro, you actually find it here. Okay, you find it here. Actually, the thing is, depending on how you are looking at your workspace, because you can actually reset your workspace to look a certain way depending on what you're focusing on in your video. And what I mean by that is that, for example, let's say your focus, CapCut doesn't have this actually, but just pay attention here. Let's say your focus for this video is first to color grade. Okay, what you can do with Premiere Pro is you can actually change the focus, and when you change the focus, everything on screen actually will change to support that thing that you are focusing on. And what I mean by that is, if you want to color grade, you can come to this workspace panel. Okay, on other versions you might find it in other places. Maybe you can find it somewhere here or anywhere at the top, but in Premiere Pro 2024 you find it here, workspaces, and then once you click on it, you see color. The view that I'm working with now, the workspace that I'm using is the editing workspace, which is optimized for editing alone. Now, if you want to do color grading, you can simply click on color, and what you see is that it opens Lumetri Color. Lumetri Color is actually the tab kind of where you find tools that you can use to color grade your clip. Okay, so it changes certain things here. It changes the place you find certain things, right? And that's because you have said to Premiere Pro, oh, my focus now is to color grade, color correct, or do things with the clip that changes the color. That is why it is changing the view basically and optimizing it for color grading. Essentials is what I use when I want most of the things that are very important when I'm editing, and I like the essential view. I think that if you're just starting out, you should just focus more on using the essentials view because you are going to love it. Actually, you will love it. I'm telling you from experience. Basically, the essential view has your project here. Your project is basically the things you are working on. Okay, like this is the video we brought in. If you bring in more videos, it will be in this project panel is what we call it. If you bring in audios and photos, it falls into this project panel. And then you have your effect panel, which is where you add effects the same way you add effects on CapCut. The difference now is that on CapCut you have presets. Like most of your effects, if not all of them, they are already pre-made for you. Well, not completely pre-made, but you cannot adjust them the same way you can adjust your effects here in Premiere Pro. For example, what I mean by that is when you come to CapCut, you come to effects. First, you need to be connected to the internet before you can even access the effects, okay, which might be a limitation for you if you're somewhere where the internet connection is not strong like I am at the moment, so I can't even search for any effects. And I find that CapCut logs me out many times. It logs me out of my laptop, and coming back on it is usually not something I enjoy, because I repeat the process almost every week, if not every day actually. So that's one of the reasons I actually moved away from CapCut and to Premiere Pro. Of course, I still use CapCut for certain things like removing background and all the likes. I have actually moved, I would say, to Premiere Pro. But now you have your effects panel on Premiere Pro, your effect control panel. This is where you control your effects. CapCut doesn't have this kind of freedom, I should say, that you can actually tweak your effects any way that you want. You can increase and decrease the opacity of your effects and all of that. So effect control is where you control all the effects you add to your video, including your video. You actually can do some things just with this alone. Okay, so you also have your essential graphics, basically for your text. If you are adding text into your video, we are not looking at how you are going to use all of this now. This is more like an introduction to Premiere Pro for you. Like I said, the view we are on now, the workspace we are looking at now, it is the essentials workspace. Let us see if we are changing back to the editing workspace. You are going to see that everything rearranged. Okay, the project panel comes here, and effect control, effect, they are always usually beside each other most of the time. Okay, and then you see that our program monitor, our preview monitor has moved to this side, and there's nothing by this side. So that is another thing that is different between CapCut and Premiere Pro. The other thing that is different between CapCut and Premiere Pro, I think I have started with what is similar. Now I'm tending more towards what is different. One thing that is different that I think is significant between CapCut and Premiere Pro is the timeline, the way you use the timeline, I should say. The timeline is similar and then it is different. And what I mean by that is the moment you have so many clips on your timeline, you notice that some things are far off. I'm zooming in now. Okay, I can also zoom in CapCut, right? If I come to CapCut now and I zoom in, you can see that some of my clips are there, and then I have this. Okay, so I can move to this side, move to that side and all. Right now, one thing that you would have noticed if you have used CapCut for a long time is, let's say you have multiple videos, multiple, and let's say some are short, some are long. Yep, some are to this side, some are to this side, some are just like this. Command B. Okay, let's take this for example. You have this kind of view on CapCut, okay, and then you have that for audio, okay, and then you have so many of that. The way you are seeing your timeline, if your laptop or your system is not big enough, you might not really enjoy the view of the timeline, right? You might not enjoy the view of the timeline. Okay, so we are going to stop there for now. If you are transitioning from CapCut to Premiere Pro, I believe I have just told you a few things that you should know about Premiere Pro and CapCut. This is like the first thing I want you to know. There will be more videos after this that will explain the terminologies, aside from terminologies, the things that you'll be using more often, and then the things that you need to master to increase the pace at which you transition into Premiere Pro from CapCut. Right, so I'm going to stop here for today, and the action steps that I would outline for you if you're serious about moving to Premiere Pro and if you're ready to move to Premiere Pro is: number one, open Premiere Pro every single day. Do not let a day pass by where you don't open Premiere Pro. Why? Because you want to get familiar with the interface. It might look intimidating if you do not do that. Okay, I remember when I started using Premiere Pro, the first thing I started to do was open it every single time and mess around with it. Okay, I changed the workspace to this and that, and I try to see what happens when I change the workspace. Sometimes I mistakenly drag, because the beautiful thing about Premiere Pro is I can drag this panel wherever I want. I drag the panel here, I start to look for my program monitor, and I'm like, okay, what have I done? And my program monitor is just here, and I could just drag this back. Okay, I could click and drag it back here, as simple as that. But when I started out, I did not know all of these things. I basically just was moving things until my brain got to the point where it was no longer seeing Premiere Pro as new. I was now familiar with it, and it was now easier. It became easier for me to now do the next step, which is to recreate the edits that I've done on CapCut on Premiere Pro. So those videos I've done already in CapCut, I will take the footage, bring it into Premiere Pro, and do exactly the same thing or something close, or even something better that I did in CapCut in Premiere Pro. So now the way that I would say you should do it is, for 1 week you can keep opening Premiere Pro every day. I want to think that you still have projects that you are working on in CapCut, and you should continue to use it, especially if you have clients and you have to deliver certain videos to certain clients. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are still working on your client's video, or you are still working on the videos you are working on in CapCut, and then take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, open Premiere Pro and just move around the interface. Okay, move around, change the workspace, change things, okay, and just move around. Then the next week you can focus on recreating some of your CapCut edits. You could choose 3, 4, or even 5, one every day. All right, it depends on how busy you are and how fast you want to grow. Generally, I think within a month, if you have 4 weeks that you can dedicate to Premiere Pro, within a month you would have gotten started. I do not say you would have become a master, but you would have gotten started already with Premiere Pro on Premiere Pro. Third action step I want you to do, then this will really help you, is to use Google and YouTube when you get stuck. In other words, you are recreating something in Premiere Pro that you already know how to do in CapCut, but now you don't know how to do it in Premiere Pro. Just pick up your phone or still on your laptop, open your browser, go to YouTube and search for it in the way that you know how to search for it. Okay, you don't need to know exactly what it is. As you begin to search for it, you begin to know, oh, this is what I actually should have been searching for instead. All right, so that's how you learn, that's how you grow, that's how you transition from CapCut to Premiere Pro. I wish you success in your journey. If you learned something from this video, give it a like and subscribe. We are going to be dropping more videos on video marketing, video editing, and basically how you can become a better editor, or how you can use videos to drive sales and build your business via YouTube. So have a wonderful day and bye.